Hello, everybody. I'm Peter the Book Lover, and this is Movie Talk, where I talk about 3 movies that I've recently seen. Let's talk about some movies. Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover, and in these videos, I like to talk about the last 3 movies that I've seen, and these are some good ones. Almost 3 ones that I really enjoyed. One's kind of like in the middle. But let's get into this. But before I do, I want to thank everybody for coming by. Thank you for being here. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. I am very happy that you are giving me your time. I really appreciate that. And let's talk about some movies. Now, I like all of these movies. These are pretty great. And let's start out with the first one. Now, the first one is from 1978. This was directed by Ronald Kressler. I think I'm saying that name correctly. And this is the movie Grease. Now, I consider this to be a guilty pleasure. I seen this when in theaters when it first came out. And I kind of liked it when I was a kid. But after time, this movie grew on me more and more. My real guilty pleasure is Grease 2. I actually kind of enjoyed that movie as well. It was like the premiere to Michelle Pfeiffer. And I've watched her career since that movie. So I kind of like that. This is starring John Travolta as Danny, Olivia Newton-John as Sandy, Stockard Channing as Rizzo, and Jeff Conway as Kaneki. Yes, so. And the best thing about this movie is the music. I love the music in the beginning. Okay, let me give you the premise of this movie. This movie starts out where it's on a beach, and John Travolta, Danny, and Olivia Newton-John, Sandy, are having a romance, and then it cuts to this musical number by Frankie Valli, and it's an awesome song. And then it goes into a high school, and then John Travolta, Danny, actually has a reputation to protect, and he kind of acts differently when she goes to the school. And then at the end of the movie, she kind of adapts to his way, and it's like a musical, you know. And it's a great musical. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite musicals. Not my favorite. My favorite would probably be Singing in the Rain. I love Singing in the Rain a little bit more than this. But this one I really enjoyed. And watching this again, actually there's some comedy in here that I really got into. There's a part of this movie when John Travolta's trying out for sports, and there's a scene to where there's a catcher that's complaining about how he can't hit a ball, and he grabs the pitcher's mitt and pulls and snaps it on his face, which was pretty hilarious. Also, there's a part of this movie where they build this car. They take this old car and they fix it up to be this really beautiful Grease Lightning. And yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I get a lot of a kick with the comedy, and the music is fantastic. A lot of this music, I used to go to the karaoke bar quite a bit, and a lot of times people would do music from this movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I love the bass lines to a lot of this music. I really enjoy the end song too, to where she actually gets dressed in black and I got chills. I love that ending scene. And it's a great, and they actually soar up into the sky at the end of the movie. It's got a great ending, and you gotta love that song, the Grease song by Frankie Valli. I love the cartoon in the beginning too. You know, the animation they have in the beginning of the movie. So I definitely give this a thumbs up. I really enjoy it. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. All the people that I live with, and there's like about 4 people. All of them say they do not like this movie at all, but me, I really enjoy this movie a lot. Grease. I give it a thumbs up. Okay, the next movie I'm going to talk about is a horror movie from 1979, and this is directed by Lucio Fulci, and this is a movie called Zombie. Now, this, I believe they rated it as rated X. This is starring Tisa Farrow as Anne Bowles, Ian McClock as Peter West, and Areta Gay as Susan Barrett. And yeah, this is your basic zombie movie. And the thing about this movie is that there's a scene in this movie where a woman takes off there's a little bit of nudity in this movie, and I have a feeling that if they could just get rid of the nudity, they could actually market this for the younger audience, because this is not terrifying, but this would be great for children. Young people watching this would probably be terrified by this, because there's a lot of people like getting out of graves and digging themselves out of graves, and it's kind of cheesy. Now, I usually don't do these reviews. I usually try to keep all parts away, and I don't want to give anything away. But there's a scene in this that I actually find that's pretty cool, that's unique. It's kind of in the beginning of the movie. Well, before I get into that, let me get into the premise of this. This is a story that starts in New York. But this is an Italian horror movie, by the way, so this is a foreign flick. But it starts in New York. There's a boat that's just going off by itself. They go on the boat, and there's a zombie aboard this boat. And then there's these 2 characters, Tisa Farrow and Ian McClough. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but the guy that plays Peter West. They go to an island where her father is actually doing experiments there. So they go to this island, and then a zombie movie happens. But on the way to this island, there's a scene to where Areta Gray, Susan Barrett in this movie, she goes diving, and she takes off her top. So she dives topless, and as she's swimming around down there, she gets stalked by a shark. And she's trying to get away from the shark, and the shark's chasing after her. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's a zombie in the water, and the zombie goes after the shark. And the shark is like, what the hell is going on here? Because he's trying to eat her, and then the zombie starts taking a bite out of the shark. Which is, I've never seen that in a zombie movie, and it was a pretty cool touch. And that kind of like, this movie is kind of like this, like in the middle, not thumbs down, not thumbs up, but it's like okay. But the shark scene, since it's so unique and creative, I kind of go to the upside of this. But at the same time, they market this as a movie that you're going to need a barf bag if you watch this movie. And trust me, you do not need a barf bag to watch this movie. That's going to be the movie Zombie from 1979. Okay, now the third movie is a true life horror drama. Yeah, true crime horror drama, I guess you would call it. And this was from 1976. Now, this, the director, there's no director for this. It's not listed as a director. But this is from a story by Truman Capote. This is In Cold Blood. And this is from 1996. And this is like a miniseries. It's a 3-part miniseries. And it's pretty interesting, in my opinion. There's a lot of actors in here that make this really interesting. I like seeing actors that are famous. And this is, I believe, before some of these people became famous. Now, if you do not know what Cold Blood is, This is a story about a family that get murdered by these two individuals, and they murder these people very viciously, and this is like the name of this fits, In Cold Blood, because they kill these people in cold blood, and it's a vicious murder, and this is an interesting thing. Now, anybody that's read In Cold Blood, this is a good thing to watch. It's not as detailed as the book, but it's still very interesting, rehashing that. I read In Cold Blood about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and this really brought back a lot of memories. In the book, it's a lot more detail. There's a lot of things that happen in the book that don't happen in this miniseries, but it's pretty interesting. And if you haven't read In Cold Blood and you are planning on reading In Cold Blood, won't ruin anything. You could watch this and you're going to still enjoy the book. Now, let me go over the cast. Anthony Edwards plays Dick Hickok. Eric Roberts, Perry Smith. Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. Eric Roberts, if you ever seen the movie Star 80, he's from that movie. Plus, he's in a lot of other things. He's also in The Dark Knight. A lot of movies. Sam Neill is in Jurassic Park. Kevin Tughe, Tighe, Tighe. I'm not sure how to pronounce this man's name, but he plays Herbert Cutter, the head of the family that gets murdered. Leo Rossi plays Agent Harold 9, and I'm not going to tell you who this guy, but once you're watching this movie, you're going to recognize this guy because he's in this movie, and I couldn't place him. But after I looked him up, I was like, oh, that's where I know this guy from. Troy Evans is another actor you probably know. Now, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, actually is in this movie as well. And if you want to see Ryan Reynolds crying, it's in this movie. Emily Perkins, I believe she is the woman that plays a young Beverly in the miniseries It. We got Don S. Davis, Agent Troy Church. You probably know this guy in other movies as well. I can't think of a specific movie, but I've seen this guy in other movies as well. And then L.Q. Jones as Tex Smith in this movie. And you know this guy from the movie Casino. If you ever seen the movie Casino, he's in that movie, plus several other movies. And this is a pretty good rendition of this story. I believe there's a movie earlier with Robert Blake and I forgot the other actor, but there's a movie beforehand they made of this, and that might be a little bit better. But at the same time, I think this is good and it's worth your time. It's a 3-hour long miniseries, and I was pretty entertained. And it is kind of slow moving in the beginning of this, but the ending is pretty crazy and like wow. So that's it. That's the 3 movies that I'm going to talk about. I'm finally caught up on all the movies I watched. This took me a little while to watch all these movies because I don't have a lot of time to watch movies. So now I want to thank you for being here, and I hope I entertained you while we talked about these movies. And another thing, I want to, if you if you're not subscribed, can you please subscribe to my channel? That would really help me out. I would really appreciate that. And I want to thank you for coming by, and that's about it. I will see you on the next episode. See you next time.